What kind of future do you want for your community? In the last 50 years, a lot has changed in the global economy. We've lost sight of the agreements and relationships that allowed for growth, production, and investment in economically beneficial activities and infrastructure. Once written into law and policy, these agreements affected different Wisconsinites differently, giving rise to political and social disagreements within the state. In addition, little communication and compromise between decision makers in both the public and private sectors have worsened these divides. Because of the lack of shared priorities and understandings across party lines, we end up downplaying the severity of problems real Wisconsinites face on a daily basis and miss opportunities for positive change. In this video series, we'll explore 4 possible futures for the state of Wisconsin by asking and answering 2 central questions. Do decision makers agree on priorities? And is there a common purpose and understanding between decision makers? The 4 combinations of yes and no from these 2 questions will help us understand what will happen when leaders do and do not agree on what goals to achieve and the priority to carry out these goals. What happens when we answer no to the question, do decision makers agree on priorities? And yes to, is there a common purpose, understanding, and interest between decision makers? When decision makers do not agree on priorities, but do have a common goal or understanding, short-term goals are prioritized. Let's see how this plays out. Let's say the community and government understand the importance of keeping people fed, but the decision makers disagree on what should be prioritized. People disagree that local food can be used as a tool for economic development. For instance, food retail is a booming industry. Everyone buys food and most people buy their food at large chain grocers. More than 1 million people in Wisconsin, about 20% of the state, receive more than $1 billion a year to ensure basic access to food. The vast majority of this is spent in grocery stores, which sell food shipped from across the country or world. In many communities, local food producers and suppliers are completely ignored as a solution to the problem of food insecurity. When we only focus on supporting supply chains from elsewhere, we miss opportunities for local economic activity that support businesses like small farms, local retailers, and young entrepreneurs. A range of opportunities are emerging to support local economies, such as apps that reward consumers for local purchases, expanding delivery options, and more. The results of local purchases encourage upwards of 70% more local activity than a large chain grocer. These local purchases fuel the Wisconsin economy and improve local businesses and communities. Main Street economies are essential to functioning communities. Local businesses create a sense of place and community for residents, making the communities that invest in these local businesses and producers better positioned to attract new and retain residents. 10 years from now, if decision makers, public and private, share priorities and understanding, most of those $1 billion a year could be kept in our own state, creating businesses and jobs for Wisconsinites. The leak of revenue to outside systems is patched by a booming local economy, where dollars circulate in Wisconsin homes, businesses, and families. Regulations, policies, institutions, and our daily choices have an impact on our current and future reality. We all play a role in ensuring our future communities work in mutually beneficial systems, so cross-sector collaboration is essential to ensure all voices are heard. While individual stakeholders have the freedom to make their own choices, we can provide information that informs these choices and their impacts on the community. Everyone has different ideas of what the future of Wisconsin looks like and when that future takes place. By working across sectors, we can collaborate, align those goals, and work together to create a productive future for all. By collaborating, we are better equipped to hold each other and leaders accountable while being responsible to each other. To see the video explaining what happens when we answer yes to either or both of these questions, continue watching this series.